If you struggle with binging, you're probably sick of people giving you tips that include going for a walk and not keeping junk in the house. So I'm going to talk to you about a slightly different way of breaking the cycle, and the way that I actually think is necessary. I don't think you can break it without doing this. And that is to change your mindset around binging. So normally when people binge, it's because of a negative emotion. So either anxiety or feeling that they're alone, some reason like that. Then once you binge, you have more negative emotions such as guilt, shame, disgust, all of that. This then leads to another binge because you've got those emotions. The only way to break that, I think, is to reassess the way that you view the binge. If you accept that it's happened, it's done, you had a slip up, and then move on, which I know is not easy to do. It's really easy to say that, but to actually do that is something else. But if you try and accept that it's happened, move on, then you're less likely to go back and do it again. One thing that can facilitate this change in mindset is setting alternative goals. So normally when people talk to you about their goals and it's kind of to do with the gym or nutrition, it's normally about weight loss or dress sizes or aesthetic things like that. That means that when you binge, you're going to feel like you're getting further from your goal, which again is going to cause those negative emotions and it's going to cause that cycle. If you, for example, had the goal of training 3 times a week, having a goal like that that's away from your aesthetic is going to help you to not feel that guilt and shame after you've binged, because you won't feel like you're kind of coming away from your goal. Another thing that creates that cycle of binging that you can't get out of is restricting after you binge. So naturally you would think, well, I've had this amount of food, which was more than I usually eat in a day, therefore I shouldn't eat dinner, or tomorrow I shouldn't eat as much, and that will even it out. But that's going to make you really hungry, you're going to be lacking energy, and you're not going to be in a good mood, all of which is going to make you want to binge again. If you feel hungry that evening, say you binged in the morning, if you feel hungry that evening, have dinner. Even if it's something small, like a salad, something that's going to fill you up, make your body know that you've had some food, then you're less likely to wake up the next morning and repeat the day before. So in my eyes, that's really important, is do not restrict after you've binged. It's just going to prolong the cycle and it's going to make it 10 times harder to come out the other side. And lastly, those tips that family and friends, whoever you've spoken to about it, if you have spoken to someone about it, those tips that they've probably given you, well-intentioned and actually have a lot of truth behind them, but the way that they're said doesn't make them relatable or doesn't make them feel accomplishable. So I'm going to break them down a little bit. Firstly, the go for a walk. Obviously, those urges aren't just going to go away and you're not going to be able to, a lot of the time, stop what you're doing, get out the house and go for that walk. Realistically, it's probably not going to happen most of the time. But once the binge has happened, you've had your slip up, once that's happened and you thought, right, that's happened, I've accepted that's happened and I'm going to move on, then is your chance, if possible, if it's not too uncomfortable, like if you're physically able, go out for your walk, don't take money with you, maybe run an errand if you need to go drop something to the charity shop, for example, then is a good time to do that. Don't go into any supermarkets, do your errand or go for your walk with the dog or your kids, whatever it is. Obviously, that's not always going to be possible. Sometimes you'll feel too sick, it's just not going to work. That is your time to do something that's going to engage your brain and your hands. So something like doing puzzles like Sudoku or, again, learning the language. sounds ridiculous because in the moment that's not what you're going to want to do, but once you start it and you immerse your brain in it, you do get distracted, and before you know it, actually some time has passed, say an hour, and you do feel a little bit better. I'm not saying it's the cure, but that is a better way to address that tip. The other one, don't keep junk food in the house. Firstly, if you live with kids, yeah, it's not going to happen, is it? They will want their snacks. And also, you feeling like something is off limits is only going to make those urges to eat it stronger. So you can have your snacks and your junk, but it's important to not allow yourself to buy multi-packs or share bags if that's something you struggle with. Once you've set that rule and you're doing your shop and you see your multi-pack of, say, Jammy Dodgers, and you think, oh, I kind of want them. Don't break your rule once you've said it. Wait until you've got friends round and you can share those mini packets between you, or wait until, I don't know, you are going to a family do and you can take one of those little bags and give the rest to the buffet table. Having them in the house, however much you think you can resist them, is not a good idea, because when you get that urge, it's going to go out the window. And it is a hard rule to have, because sometimes you're like, no, you know what, I really want it, and I think I can do it, but that's going to lead to regret. So there is going to be a time where you can have those in the house, but if that's not now, that's fine, and you've just got to kind of live with that, and get to the point where you can have it in the house, and it's not all going to go in one.